What's up? Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Hope you're doing very, very well. We got another mock draft to kick off to wrap up the end of 2025 and kick off 2026. We're heading into Week 18. The college football playoff quarterfinals start tonight, so let's get into it. My name is Harrison Graham. Here we go. The Raiders now hold the number one pick after winning the Tankathon Bowl over the Giants, and by winning, I mean losing the game. Fernando Mendoza to Las Vegas. I think there's going to be a pretty big debate between he and Dante Moore, assuming Moore declares for the draft. Mendoza technically has to as well. I'll have Mendoza going to Vegas. I think he's probably the higher floor quarterback, whereas Mendoza's the higher ceiling quarterback. They need a plug-and-play starter. I don't think Geno Smith is back. Mendoza, I think, is the guy who can play sooner. Okay, the Giants do not need a quarterback, although there's some buzz. They might look into Mendoza and or Dante Moore, but I'm thinking they're going to stick with Jackson Dart, so I'm going to have the Arizona Cardinals trade up. They trade up from 5 to 2. They send, obviously, the 5th overall pick, a first next year, and then a 3rd this year, number 69 overall, to move up 3 spots and select Dante Moore, the quarterback out of Oregon. Now, Jacoby Brissett is under contract with Arizona, so they could easily roll him out there next year and have Dante Moore sit and watch it first, maybe put him in mid-season, or just sit him a whole year for 2027. That's an option. I don't think Kyler Murray will be on this football team, so I think they'll get him out, have Jacoby, and then roll with a rookie on the roster, and I think they'll be pretty aggressive in trading up for one. And people aren't really talking about this. The Cardinals have quietly been tanking for months. I mean, they've lost 13 out of 14 games. It's pretty remarkable. They started 2-0 and they're 3-14. So, or 3-13, excuse me. And if they lose again this week, which they probably will against the Rams, they could move up from even the 5th overall pick. So, I think they're in play for Mendoza or Moore. I've got them trading up for Dante Moore. Happy New Year, like I said, and my New Year's goal to wake up on January 1, 2026, which is tomorrow, is to have 15,000 subscribers. We're not quite there. Your boy's bad at math, so we're 184 subscribers away, but can you help us get there? We're at 14,816 daily and free NFL and college football content. We'd love to get over the hump. Let's make it happen. All right, Caleb Downs to the Jets at number 3 overall. I've said it for weeks now, and talking and doing these mocks, I think he's the safest and the best player in this draft. And when you have that combination, I just think that's the pick. If Mendoza or Moore were available, I could see the Jets going that route, but they're not in this case, so Caleb Downs to New York is the play. Okay, the Tennessee Titans sit with the 4th pick right now. I think you got to get Cam Ward some more help. Jordyn Tyson, the receiver out of Arizona State, is probably my favorite receiver in this draft. I think there's going to be a debate between 3 or 4 guys, but I like his size-speed combination. Get him on the outside on the perimeter to be a playmaker for Cam Ward. I got another receiver going 5th overall, so the Giants trade down, pick up a future 1 and a 3rd in this draft. Carnell Tate. I might like Makai Lemon a little bit more overall, but I think Tate offers something the Giants don't have, which is that big, lanky perimeter receiver. Malik Neighbors obviously can play outside, but you can move him around. You can put him in the slot. He can play Z. He can play X. Carnell Tate is a true boundary receiver, gives them that size-speed combo that they don't necessarily have. I like that mesh with Malik Neighbors and for Jackson Dart, who needs some more help. Okay, Arvell Reese, this is another just BPA situation. The linebacker edge hybrid out of Ohio State. Keep him in state, keep him home. If you are Cleveland, best player available situation. They could be in the mix for quarterbacks, but with the 2 guys gone, I'm going to go Arvell Reese here. Get them another dynamic defensive player to go along with Myles Garrett. David Bailey to the Commanders. I think I've mocked this one a couple of times. I like that fit in Dan Quinn's defense. The Commanders got to figure out who their defensive coordinator is going to be next year because it's not going to be Joe Woods. But Bailey is a fast riser in this draft. I expect him to go top 10. Speaking of Makai Lemon, I love this fit with the Saints. Tyler Shuck's playing some good ball. Chris Olave kind of feels reborn and reinvigorated with Shuck playing, so I expect them to keep him around and extend him this offseason. Makai Lemon can be kind of that slot Amon-Ra St. Brown type where you can move him around, do some different things, whereas Olave is more of your outside receiver. I think it's a pretty good 1-2 punch. You got Jawan Johnson at tight end. Watch out. I mean, the way Tyler Shuck's playing, small sample size, but I think the Saints pretty quickly could be a pretty good offense in 2026, especially if they can get a guy like Makai Lemon on board. Who is your favorite receiver prospect? I think these are the top three. You could argue it should be a big four with Denzel Boston. I wouldn't be shocked if, once the combine comes and goes, it turns into more of a big four. But if you had to pick, JT for Jordyn Tyson, CT for Carnell Tate, or ML for Makai Lemon. Okay, Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs. Listen, the Chiefs might have picked a good year to have a bad year, because if you could get Jeremiah Love, that running game is lacking severe juice. Well, you turn that around overnight with a guy like Jeremiah Love. Size, speed combo, can catch the ball out of the backfield, good in pass pro. This would be a home run for Kansas City. They could be right back in the mix next year, especially if Mahomes is ready at or near the start of next season. Okay, Rueben Bain Jr. to the Bengals. There's going to be a lot of debate about him because he's got shorter arms. I thought he was fantastic in the playoff game against Texas A&M. You felt his presence consistently. If you need to move him around, have him play inside some, cool. The Bengals need good defensive players, and Rueben Bain is a good defensive player. Okay, trade alert. I'm going to have Dallas trade up. A lot of moving parts here. Miami gets 14 and 21 overall. Dallas gets 11, 43, and 150. So they drop down a round from their second pick, but they pick up an additional pick on day 3 while moving up 3 selections in the first round. Keldric Faulk, the edge out of Auburn. They got to get a pass rusher in this draft. Big physical player. Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons didn't play the run. Keldric Faulk does. He's a big physical edge. He's not as twitchy and dynamic as a pass rusher, but he can set the edge in the run game, can win with his power. I like this selection for Dallas. Okay, Spencer Fano, first offensive lineman off the board to the Rams. I love this fit in LA. If you need him to be a swing guy for a year, he can do that. If you need him to plug and play at right tackle right away, he can do that. Get them another offensive tackle on that line. All right, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or making player picks for the first time, trying something new can be hard, but in life and on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure playoff matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never stops, and Prize Picks lets you take control. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick your favorite team's quarterbacks more on his pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can. All in one lineup, only on Prize Picks. I got a little 3-player lineup coming up this weekend. Give me more on both Caleb Williams and Jared Goff's passing yards as those two teams duke it out this weekend. And then I like Bears rookie running back Kyle Monungai to score a touchdown. Love the Demon play offer. Increases the payout. $20 entry to win $80 right there. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups. After you play your first $5 lineup, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. All right, Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Clemson, goes to the Buccaneers. Vita Vea's getting older. You watch Tampa, that defense stinks. They need some fresh blood. Peter Woods is a pretty good starting point. Okay, the Dolphins. I go Jermod McCoy here. They've actually been pretty good on defense, but Rasul Douglas is probably a 1-year rental. He probably goes elsewhere next year to more of a contender. McCoy, who didn't play this year due to an injury, if his medicals check out, I think he's the most talented corner in this draft. TJ Parker goes to the Lions. I think there's going to be a lot of opinions on him. Coming into the year, he was a bona fide top 10 pick. Didn't have his best season at Clemson, but there's a lot of kind of tweener edges this year. Guys with shorter arms like Rueben Bain, like Cassius Howe. TJ Parker should have the measurables, so I still think teams are going to like him, and the Lions need a guy opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Kayden McDonald to the Ravens. We have no idea what Nnamdi Madubuike's future looks like. That's kind of been a under-talked about storyline this offseason nationally. He had that neck injury. They had to shut him down. His future could be in doubt. Well, you're probably going to need some beef on that interior. They're not necessarily the same type of player. McDonald's more of a run stop guy first, which I get a little hesitant taking those DTs in the first half of the first round, but I think he's the best defensive tackle available at this point, so I'll take him for Baltimore. I also love this fit. Kenyon Sadiq to the Vikings. TJ Hawkinson is a potential cut candidate for Minnesota. Getting older, doesn't have quite the same, juice speed that he used to. He's had some injuries. Sadiq, obviously young, athletic, willing blocker. I think he could add just some youthful energy to that offense and give whoever the quarterback is, J.J. McCarthy or someone else, another weapon to throw to. Who is your favorite player? Not necessarily the best, your favorite player in the 2026 draft. Sadiq's one of mine. He's really fun to watch. I love Jeremiah Love. Obviously, Caleb Downs is fantastic. But I've liked Sadiq for a while. I think he could be one of these modern-day hybrid tight ends that right away is pretty productive. Okay, Sonny Styles, I think this guy's shooting up draft boards as well. Again, you're probably thinking Jets, off-ball linebacker. Well, Aaron Glenn oversaw a team that took a running back and a linebacker in the first round in Detroit, and they got killed for it with Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs. If Sonny Styles is the best player available, their entire defense needs players, and Sonny Styles is a good one. So I don't mind going BPA when you're just a team that needs good players. Okay, Cassius Howell, the edge out of Texas A&M. Again, there's concerns about the arm length, but he's a twitchy edge defender. Carolina, I think in that scheme, even if Howell has limitations against the run, I think it can work. They just do not have dynamic pass rushers, and this guy has a chance to be one. Okay, the Steelers at 20. It's unknown what they're going to do at quarterback. Does Aaron Rodgers run it back for another year? Do they trade for a Kyler Murray or something like that? Do they go get Malik Willis? That's all up in the air, but they need another receiver opposite of DK Metcalf. We saw in the game against the Browns when Metcalf was suspended, and we're going to see another game this weekend against Baltimore without DK because it's a 2-game suspension. They don't really have difference makers on the outside other than him. I think Denzel Boston can be just that. Big, runs fast. You can just generate touches for him as well in the quick game. I think, like I said earlier, I think there's a chance he enters that conversation among the best receiver in this draft. Right now, I've got him as the 4th guy, but I think he's got a chance to enter that group. Okay, at 21 overall, I got the Dolphins, who are back on the board. Remember with that trade with Dallas. Francis Mauigoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami, so you keep him local. Their right tackle situation hasn't been great. Austin Jackson, Larry Borum, they've kind of both been in there at times due to injuries to Jackson. This kid has a chance to stabilize that position, and most people think he could kick inside and be a good guard, so it gives you some versatility and some options there as well. Caden Proctor to the Chargers. In a perfect world, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt will both come back and be perfectly fine. There was concern with Slater's injury that could impact his long-term health. So, you bring in a guy like Proctor. They've been decimated with injuries. I think he could have a litany of roles. Maybe he wins one of your tackle jobs. Maybe one of those guys isn't ready. Maybe you kick him inside to guard. He's about 360 pounds. Maybe he's your swing guy at first. I just know this. Jim Harbaugh values offensive linemen. He calls them weapons. This guy is a big and athletic freak. He might need some more development in NFL coaching, so maybe in a perfect world he sits for a year. But if both those guys are back, maybe you have that luxury, and then he's a key player moving forward for you. Okay, Romello Height. I'm a big fan of this kid out of Texas Tech. David Bailey's getting all the flowers, but Height's a really good player as well. And the Bills lack juice on their defensive line, so bring this kid in. He can rush the passer. Mansour Delane, the corner out of LSU, goes to 24 overall to the Rams. They need cornerback help. This guy could go top 15, so the way it fell was good for LA. They get him at 24. Vega Ioane, producer Colin helping me for the second mock in a row with this kid. He's probably the best true guard in this draft. Now, a couple guys could kick inside like we've previously mentioned, but I think you look at Philadelphia, that offensive line has let them down this year. Feels beat up from the year before. They haven't been able to run the ball the same. I think this guy, you can plug and play him at right guard, which has been kind of an issue with Tyler Steen this season. Caleb Banks, the defensive tackle out of Florida, missed a lot of this year, had a foot issue, so his medicals will be key. But I look at Houston, offensive line, defensive tackle. Those are kind of the two areas where I think they could get better. Running back too, but there's not really a guy you would take here. I don't think Jadarian Price is a guy that goes in the first round. Maybe he does. Maybe some other running back emerges. You would love Jeremiah Love. Would Houston get crazy aggressive and trade up for Love if he fell to the teens? Maybe, but I don't think he's fallen to 26. So Caleb Banks is the pick. The Browns need more weapons. KC Concepcion can help provide that. And I like this pick too because you can just manufacture touches too. Screens, jet sweeps. He can also run the route tree pretty well. He can be a weapon in the return game. So this is a guy you can get touches. He I don't think he's quite as twitchy, but he does kind of remind me of Luther Burden with his versatile kind of game and ability to do different things. And, players like that, you can find a way to just get them the ball. And in today's NFL, that's very, very valuable. Even if it's not, a true X receiver, if you can just find a way to get a guy 5-6 touches a game and just let him go to work, I think Concepcion fits that to a T. Okay, Caleb Lomu, the other Utah tackle to the 49ers. Trent Williams getting up there. Saw him pull his hammy just trying to run down a pick six the other night. So at some point, the 49ers need an exit strategy or at least insurance there for Trent Williams, who's 37 years old. Lomu could be the swing next year. You could play him at right tackle. Maybe Trent Williams retires. Who knows? But I think this would be a good pick. The Bears at 29, Kristen Miller, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. They would love to probably get an edge rusher here, but defensive line in general is something the Bears need. Gervon Dexter's entering the final year of his rookie deal next year. Unclear if he's an extension candidate at this point in time. Grady Jarrett's getting older. You could throw him into this rotation. And then in 2027, if he plays well, he could be a guy that emerges as a starter moving forward. C.J. Allen, the linebacker out of Georgia. I think he's one of the better off-ball linebackers in this draft. After Sonny Styles. Patriots defense still has some holes on it. You'd probably rather go edge here, but there's not really a natural edge left on the board to take at this point. So kind of went best defensive player available, and to me, that's C.J. Allen. Brandon Cece, the corner out of South Carolina, goes to Denver. Strong opinions among Broncos fans around Riley Moss. Is he a long-term viable starter? Also, Denver just has a loaded roster, so you can kind of just take BPA, but if corner is a position where you'd like to add some competition, I think Cece's a good pick. And then Avion Terrell fell to 32 here. Seattle, obviously you got Reek Woolen entering free agency. That might be a guy they let go and sign elsewhere. Terrell, kind of a nickel outside corner hybrid. So, Mike McDonald likes those versatile defensive backs, and I think he would be able to do some different things. All right. The college football playoff quarterfinals kick off tonight with Ohio State and Miami. I wanted you guys to just look at the bracket. You've got that game in the Cotton Bowl. You got Georgia Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl. I think I misspoke on a previous video, by the way. The Sugar Bowl is in New Orleans, not Atlanta, so it's not quite a home game for Georgia, although I do think more Georgia fans will be there. Texas Tech and Oregon in the Orange Bowl, and then Indiana, Alabama, and the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Which is your favorite quarterfinal game? Let us know down in the comment section below. And speaking of the CFP, myself, producer Cullen, we will be live right here on 4 Verts for the Sugar Bowl. Ole Miss, Georgia. Can't wait for that game. It was an awesome game in the regular season. We'll see if the Rebs can get revenge on the Bulldogs without Lane Kiffin this time around. If you remember that game, Ole Miss for 3 quarters played exceptional, and then in the fourth quarter just could not keep scoring offensively, and Georgia pulled away. But should be a fun one. Game, I think, is at 8 Eastern, 7 Central Time, so we'll probably be live around 6:30, 6:45, so be sure to join us for that. Hit that subscribe button. 15,000 tomorrow. Can it happen? I'm banking on you guys. Let's do it. We'll see you soon.